Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Assistant Secretary Gentry Smith with the U.S. Department of State's Overseas Security Advisor Council, OSAC, to discuss what the U.S. Department of State and the private public sector community are doing to work together to support the safe operations of U.S. companies' interests overseas. It is great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Oh, thank you very much, Jill.
It's so interesting. In financial reporting, we're always thinking about earnings and profitability and the bottom line, but you have to keep your operations safe in order to execute on that. Tell us what the Diplomatic Security Service does.
Well, the Diplomatic Security Service is the security and law enforcement arm of the U.S. Department of State. And the Overseas Security Advisory Council, OSAC as we call it, is that connection between the Diplomatic Security Service, the U.S. government, and a public-private partnership with U.S. companies, academia, NGOs, and even small startups that operate in an international environment. U.S.-based companies that operate outside the borders of the United States.
So what does OSAC do?
OSAC, we work with the U.S. private company. We provide them with threat information. We provide them with threat analysis. And we discuss best practices for U.S. businesses operated abroad, particularly in foreign environments. And so between the discussions that U.S. companies and other organizations have with the government, on the diplomatic security side, we will generally discuss security-related matters and ways in which we can help U.S. companies operate safely in a foreign environment.
And that was my next question. How does this benefit the private sector?
This is a partnership that has been around since 1985, and is, in my opinion, one of the best public-private partnerships that there is out there. Most of the country chapters that are located in 150 locations around the world, they are specific to those regions where they operate in. So the government side with the Diplomatic Security Service, our regional security officers are able to have in-depth conversations with the security representatives from these companies and to discuss matters that are of significance in the areas in which they operate, and can actually, again, talk about best practices and ways to address any issues that would be of concerns to those organizations, U.S.-based, that operate in overseas.
So what happens at the OSAC country chapter meetings?
At the OSAC meetings, generally there will be representatives from the U.S. organizations that operate overseas. There will be representatives from the government. Usually that will be the regional security officer from the embassy. And we can talk, again, you can talk in depth about situations, but also OSAC from the headquarters standpoint can also engage in webinars and other information sharing activities with these companies overseas to do one-on-one counseling and also to take specific items of interest that would be of interest to these organizations in the locations that they are. And again, be able to go in depth and have discussions that will be beneficial to both sides.
So for a high level example, if you have an executive management team traveling to, let's say, more hostile environment around the world, you will work with them to discuss best practices and what does that look like?
Well, we will sometimes have those conversations with them before they get on the road to give them an idea of the environment that they will be operating in. We'll also be able to put them in contact with individuals, generally from our regional security office or other individuals within the embassy, that will be able to have conversations with them during the time that they're there. And of course, because the personnel at the embassy have contacts with the local security personnel that are in the country, in the event that there is something that happens, we can then provide some assistance or guidance to the companies that are out there as to the best way of handling the situation that they're involved in.
All right. Well, thank you for keeping us all safe. It was great to have you with us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.